25% that it will work, but there's 25% that it won't work. So I'm just saying. The other reason that this will be a bit different presentation is the title. Because the title is like you see, Netflix 2.0, how to build your own VOD global web application without using single server. So first of all, Netflix 2.0 is a clickbait. I thought and I knew that this will be like, yeah, I will come. We won't be talking about Netflix itself. A bit, yes, there will be 2 slides about the Netflix, but we won't talk more about it. The second thing is the VOD. We will be talking a bit about VOD, but in short, this is just a case. I needed an application which I will be building, and I thought, okay, I will build a small VOD platform. The most important part of this presentation is this, global. And this is why you should be here, or at least this is why you will be here during the next hour. So guys, global. Why are we talking about global? Why do some of us believe that it's quite important to build global application? So this is one of the screens which I took in the internet, just, what is the definition of the global? So involving the entire world, big, huge, and so on. So why is it important? Because let's imagine that we have got a data center here. In this single location in the world, there are our data center, and this is the location, this is the place where our application is being hosted. But this is just one location. If we want to build a global application, it means that we don't only want to be there, but we want to be here, we want to be here, and maybe in other different locations. So this is what it means, to be global. So the question now is why? Why do we want to be in many different locations? It will be just easier and simple to be in one single location. Yes, it would be simple, much, much, much more simple, but sometimes there are reasons why we want to build an application which will be global. So in short, there are 3 main reasons why some companies will decide to build a global application. So one of the reasons is improved latency. So let's imagine that we have got our data center in one location. This is the place where our application is being hosted. Here are we. And we have got a user. So because the user is quite close to the data center, so if you want to access the application, access the system which is hosted there, it will be quite fast. Let's say 15 milliseconds. Why not? But now if we have got a second user, which is in USA, physics, it will take time to get to the data which is in Europe. So, maybe 250 seconds. And let's say we have got one more user, this time in Australia, and now when he will want to get access to the data, it will take maybe 350 milliseconds. So as you can see, it will be just better from the speed perspective if we would be here, here, here. So now the first user, 15 milliseconds, the second user, 23 milliseconds, and the last user, 12 milliseconds. So sometimes this is the reasons why we will go global. The second thing is about building disaster recovery, high availability. In short, if you are going to the cloud, you will be using multiple data centers. But sometimes you want to build something even better. So let's again return to our case. We have got one single location, we have got those 3 users, and now something happens, and now suddenly our data center is not working, and we have got a problem, because now nobody can access the application, the data, and so on. So if we would be in those 3 different locations, and now those location in Europe is not working anymore because of the reasons, now this first user could still access the data, maybe, if it was replicated to a different data center. So again, another reasons why we want to go global. And this is one of the cases why Netflix, those are those 2 slides about Netflix, how Netflix is building their application. So Netflix is full on AWS. So if you are watching Netflix, you are using AWS. And Netflix is using AWS in such way that they are being deployed in multiple different regions around the world. Why? Because if something will happen with the data center, even with AWS, they still want to be, to Netflix to be working just fine. And some time ago, a couple of years ago, they were designing this architecture, and they designed it in a such way that it's like multi-active, scenario. So they're using multi-regions design. They also created something which is called a Simian army. So in short, they decided we want to be prepared if something will be wrong with our application. Maybe we made a mistake in the code, maybe a database has got a bad day, maybe there is a problem with a data center, maybe AWS has got a problem. So we want to be prepared for this. So they didn't want to wait for this thing to happen, but they created a scripts which are working all the time while they are working, and they are just, breaking their application. So there is a script which is just thinking, okay, now I will break this application. Now I will do something bad with this component and this component and this component. They are doing this because they want to be prepared. So, the script is removing, databases, servers, and so on, and they are evaluating if everything is working just fine. So this is, the Simian army. If somebody wants to, to find out about this, I think this is on the GitHub, so, anybody can use it and try to, to break your own application. Another reason, the third reason, is about the business requirements. So in this case, we have got, again, single location. We have got our, data here. Everybody are using this location. And let's say we have got a database. So inside of this database, we are storing the data from people from USA, from Australia, and from Poland. But maybe, just maybe, one of our reasons is saying like this: no, we can't do it. We want to have a separate data centers in separate locations, and now, in one location we have got, data from people from Poland. In another data center we have got, data from people from USA, and so on. So this is the third reasons why we might want to build a global application. So, being global, there are some reasons. So is it hard to build global application? Yes, it is hard to build real global application. But there are some things which can make it a bit easier, and this is what we are going to talk today and what we are going to build during the next 50 minutes. So guys, there are a couple of different reasons why this is quite hard to build global application. First of all, it's hard to replicate data across from Europe to USA and so on, because the distance is just too big. So in short, there is a problem. If we want to copy the data in a synchronous way, asynchronous way, do we want to wait for the response that the USA is saying yes, we have got the data or not? So this is not, an easy approach. So with AWS, for some of you, this might be obvious. You know this. For some of you, you might not know this. AWS has got, about 20 different locations around the world where we have got our data centers. So in short, if you are using AWS, you can use almost any of those locations and build application there. 1, 2, 3, as much as you want. But also in the background, there is something which is called a private backbone. So in short, we are connecting those different locations with our own private network, which we are building, to make this communication between different regions faster. So in short, if you want to copy the data from Europe to USA and the other way, this won't go through the public internet, but this will go through our private network, so it will be just faster. This private network is quite big. This is one of the biggest networks around the world. So we are doing quite a lot of stuff to make it happen. So, let's build something, because we want to build a VOD platform during the next 45 minutes. So guys, we want to build an application, VOD platform. What exactly it will do, just give me, I will tell you in 10 minutes. So we will be using 2 locations because we don't have much time. So one location will be Europe and one location will be United States. So first of all, we are going to need to have a place where we are going to store the data, the movies, because we are building the VOD platform. So we'll be using S3 service. S3, I guess for most of you, you are familiar with S3. S3 is simple storage service. So in short, you create a bucket, a folder, a location in one place, and you put the data there. So in our application, we will be creating 2 buckets in 2 different locations. And what we will do, we will configure it in a such way that whenever we'll put something in one bucket, it will be automatically replicated to a second bucket in a different location, and the other way. Okay? So let's start first from this, and then let's continue. This is the place where it should work. Okay. Cool. Okay. Who has never seen AWS console? Okay. Just a couple of people. We don't have time, to describe this, but in short, this is the way how we interact with AWS Cloud. So, guys, we will be building our application in 2 locations, Ireland and North Virginia. So, first of all, I need to create those 2 buckets, one in this location, one in this location. Currently, if I would go to S3 service, I have got a couple of buckets, but they are not connected with my application, which we'll be building. So to not waste time, I will create those buckets using API. So I will I will use S3 API to create a bucket, Europe innovation at Amazon, and USA innovation at Amazon. One is located in Europe, one is located in USA. So I will just copy those comments, and I will just execute those. Okay, so now if I will refresh the page, I should see that now I have got 2 new buckets. So the Europe Innovation Amazon and USA Innovation Amazon, and I also see that this one is in Europe and this is in USA. So now if I will put something in one of these locations, it will stay there. AWS doesn't copy the data unless you will tell it that, yes, you should copy the data. So we want to do it. We want to tell AWS, whenever I will put something in Europe, copy it using your private backbone to USA. So we will do it in a such way that we'll go to the Management tab and we'll configure a replication, and we will say like this: copy everything which will be new, where? To this new bucket, so USA Innovation at Amazon. Let's go next. This is not important. And let's save it. And that's all. So now whenever I will put something here, it will be automatically replicated to USA. I should do exactly the same in the second bucket. I won't do it because we don't have time, but I will prove you that it's working. So now if I will upload here a couple of files, because I prepared something, just give me 1 second. Okay, those are 3 files which I want to upload. Those are 3 files, video files. So now what I'm doing, I'm uploading them to Europe, and after 2-3 minutes, maybe 30 seconds, it will be in Europe, and then it will be automatically replicated to USA. So I will just quickly show this. So I will quickly open the second bucket. So USA Innovation. Still nothing, because still the data are being uploaded in Europe. We have got 2 here, 3. I will just make them public also for later use. Okay, and let's refresh the USA. And again, here we have got those files. So they were automatically replicated to this location. I will also make them public. Okay, so this is one part of our application, but we still need a lot more. So second thing is databases. This is the most tricky part. If we want to go global, this will be the part which will be the most tricky, because it's not easy and simple and cheap to build a global application. So in short, in AWS, one of the cases would be RDS. RDS is a relational database service. So you could build a global RDS relational databases. It will be like this, that in one location there will be a master. So this database, you can read and write from this. And in a different location, there will be read replicas, so you can just read from them. You can't save new data there. But what we are going to use DynamoDB. DynamoDB is one of the most popular databases in AWS. In short, if you are using Alexa, Amazon.com is using DynamoDB. So this is no SQL database. And one of the features of this database is that there is something which is called a global tables. And a global table will be a functionality which will span across multiple different locations because we want to build a global application. So now what we are going to do, we are going to set up a database in those two locations, and we're going to say replicate the data. So as with S3 copy the data, now we are creating the database. Whenever I will write something to one location, replicate it. Whenever I will write something to the other location, replicate. So let's see how it will be in real life. So I'm returning to the main console, and I will quickly go to the DynamoDB service. So guys, now we are in our, I don't know why you don't see it. Give me 1 second. Okay, so now I'm in DynamoDB. So, and I'm in Ireland, so this is the first location where I will be creating the database. I will create a table. A table is a database in this case. I will call it movies, and this is no SQL database, so I'm not defining the schema. I need just to provide the primary key. And the primary key will be the name. This will be the name of the movie which I will be uploading. So let's create it. And now it will take about 3 seconds. Then I will have got a database in this one location. You can also see that I have got there another table database, hackers. We will use it later. So one of you will be hacker, which will break my application if we'll have good time. So guys, so now we have got a database. It's empty. We don't have anything here. But currently, this database is only in Europe. So I will go to the tab Global Tables, and I will say, yes, I want this to be global. I want to have a second part in USA. So I will just enable streams, and then I will just add a new region, and I will say, North Virginia. It will take 5-10 seconds. And now, if I would go to North Virginia, I would check that I have got also this database there. It's empty because we didn't put anything there, but it's there. We'll see it later when we'll be using this. Okay, let's go back to our application, and let's see what next. So we have got a storage for our movies. We have got a database. What exactly we will be storing in the database, you will see in 10 minutes. So, okay, so we have got the database, we did it. Okay, but we are building applications, so we also need to have a place where our logic will be implemented. I was thinking quite a lot, what service do I want to use? Do I want to use servers? Do I want to use Lambda and so on? But I thought that, everybody are now talking about containers, so I thought, let's use Docker containers. So guys, what we are going to do is use Docker containers. For those of you who don't know, playing with Docker containers is easy when you have got one server. It's not so easy when you have got multiple servers. Because this is a server. So now we have got 2 Docker containers, container A, container B. So it's quite easy to put them, to deploy them on this one single server. What is quite hard is when we don't have one single server, but we have got a couple of those. Because now we have got those containers, and we need to figure out where's the place for them, how to make those Docker containers highly available, and so on, how to scale them, and so on. That's why very often we will have got another component, orchestration engine. This could be Mesos, this could be Kubernetes, this could be a couple of different solutions. And we'll be talking with this component to tell, deploy one of those containers, maybe multiple of those, and so on. And this is, how usually we play with Docker containers. But then I thought, okay, but the title of the presentation is serverless. So I can't use servers, and I don't like to play with servers, to be honest. So that's why what we are going to use, we are going to use Fargate. And a Fargate is a serverless way of running Docker containers. So in this case, again, we have got this orchestration engine, but we don't need to have servers. So we are saying, here we are my containers, deploy it somewhere, and what Fargate will do, it will deploy it on something, but we won't have access to the server. We don't care about the server. Okay, and what we are going to do with our application, I also prepared a template. This is CloudFormation template. So this is like infrastructure as a code, a piece of script which will do something. What this piece of script will do, it will create a network, then it will create 2 subnets, it will create a load balancer, an application load balancer, and it will create a Docker container from my image. And then we'll be able to access it from the internet. And this will be our application. And of course, because we are in 2 regions, what I will do, I will deploy this in 2 locations, one in USA, one in Europe. Okay, so let's see if we're able to do it in 5 minutes. So guys, because I need to have the image of the Docker, I need to have my application, what I also prepared before is here I have got a folder, my app, and there is a Docker file. We won't focus on this because we don't have time, but this index.php is my application. So you can see that there is something which is called cartoon themes. I will change this to innovation at Amazon. And I also hard-coded something. This is the suffix of my bucket. So innovation Amazon. Thanks to this, I will know, my application will know that it should go to this bucket with this name to get the audios, okay? So I will just save it. And as usually when we are playing with Docker containers, I need to build and I need to push it to the repository. I already created a repository, so in short, I just need to build it, and I need to push it to the repository. I will just go to the folder where there's my Docker file, and because I never remember, I will just build it. I will just tag it, and I will just push it to the repository. Okay, so now it's in the repository, so now I will be able to reference it when I will be deploying it. I also have got here a file, my app YAML. So this is this CloudFormation template, which is describing how my application is being created, what is there, networks, load balancers, Fargate, and so on. Because we don't have a lot of time, so I will be using now AWS CLI to quickly create this. So I guess you can see it, AWS CloudFormation, create stack, and I will create it 2 stacks, one with the name Europe app and USA app. One will be in Europe, one will be in USA. So I will just copy those 2, and I will just execute those. And now what is happening, I connected with those 2 locations in Europe and in USA, and I said, deploy my application, which are using Docker containers. In this template, I'm referencing the Docker registry. So now if, for example, I could go to the CloudFormation, now I'm in Ireland still, I would be able to see that, okay, Europe app, this is the thing which which is now being created. Something similar is being created in USA. If I will change the region, I will go to USA. If I would just make it a bit bigger, I will see that my application USA app is being created, okay? The second thing, USA, is the network. I have created this before, just to not waste time, okay? So if I will go inside, I would see that multiple things are being created, like the load balancer and so on, like the service. And in this service, my Docker image will be deployed. My container will be deployed. It should take about 1 minute, so let's wait and let's see if my application is working correctly. After it will be deployed, I should get an output. An output will be the endpoint of the load balancer. I will get one endpoint for the load balancer, which is in USA, and I will get one endpoint for the application, which is being deployed in Europe. So let's refresh it. It's deployed. I have got an endpoint. Let's open it. And this is my application, which is being deployed in USA. Cartoon Teams Innovation at Amazon. we see that this is USA. Usually, the application will be exactly the same in USA and in Europe. But I wanted to make it clear that now we are talking with this application and not with the other one. So my VOD platform, I'm not a specialist, so nothing fancy. Those free movies which we put on as free. So I didn't know what kind of movies should I put. So I thought that everybody liked cartoons. So there is who knows what is this? Yeah. What? No. This is General Dimos. This is Rangdo. And we have the third movies, which is Ninja Turtles. I thought that this would be everybody loves those. So guys, this is my application. Now I'm interacting with the part which is in USA. I thought that we also have got a database, so let's use it in some way. So there are likes. So if I like the movie, I can press I like it. So let's say I like Dimos. I will click on I like it. Oh, I like it. And now what this is doing is saving those information in the database. So if I will go to the database, I'm in Ireland now. If I will refresh it, I will see that the second movie has got 7 likes. And this came from USA. But now if I will open my endpoint from Ireland, so this is the Europe app, outposts, puts. This is the other one. This same application, Europe, I have got 7 likes because we are sharing the database. Not sharing the database because those are 2 databases, but they are exchanging the data. And now, of course, the movies are the same, but now those movies are coming from Europe. On the USA application, those movies were coming from USA. Cool, guys. So now everything cool, but we have got 2 endpoints, and quite ugly endpoints, which were being generated as the endpoint of the load balancer. So what I also created, I registered a domain. I thought that, it might be quite interesting. So I will open a Route 53. Route 53 is a DNS service from AWS where you can register and manage domains. And I have got my own domain, which I called VODcartoonteams.com. Just, maybe my future is this. So what we'll do now, we'll register 2 endpoints. I will create an endpoint, and I will say Europe, so Europe.vod, Whenever somebody will put this name, he should be redirected to the Europe load balancer. And let's create it. I will also create a USA endpoint, so USA.vod and so on. And then when somebody will put this name, he should be redirected to the USA load balancer. And those are DNSs. It will take about 1-2 minutes this to be propagated, and we'll check this. But there is one problem with what we have done now. We have got 2 endpoints. I don't want to have 2 endpoints. I want to have 1 endpoint. Why 1 endpoint? Because if I'm in Europe and I'm accessing this 1 endpoint, the application from the Europe should be showed to me. If I will go to USA, if I will use the same endpoint, the application from USA should be shown to me. So we'll create one more endpoint. We'll say, I want to have single endpoint. Let's call it single. And now, again, forward it to Europe. But now, here we have got routing policy. We want this to be happen based on the latency. If the user is closer to the Europe, so we'll say latency. If he's closer to the Europe, point him to Europe load balancer. But again, single VOD, point him to the USA load balancer if he's closer to the USA. Again, this will take 2 minutes, but I guess the first 2 should be working already, so VOD and so on. So I will just put an address VOD, USA VOD cartoon teams, okay, this is working. If I will use Europe, It's working okay. Let's see if the single is already working. It might not work yet. Single, it's working. I'm in Europe, so the application to Europe is being shown to me. Let's see if, what will be shown if I would be in USA. So guys, I also prepared, give me 1 second. This might not work, but might work. So this is something which is called a workspace. Another service from AWS, this is VDI. And I have spin up a server which is in USA. So I wanted to prove this to you. So I'm accessing this from the web browser, but I'm on this server. I think it's dead. Okay. Okay. So I won't be able to show you like this, but there's a different way. So there's something which is called Pingdom. So Pingdom is usually a solution for testing the performance and so on. But in short, I can test what the response will look like if I will send a request to this address from, let's say, maybe from Sydney. Start test. It will take about 1 minute, 5-10 seconds, and then we'll see what the user from Sydney would see if he would open this endpoint. I don't have an account there, so let's see if it will show me the response. And USA. So it detected that the guy from Australia is closer to USA than to Europe. So it's forwarded me, the user, to the endpoint which is hosted in USA. Cool. Let's continue because we have a couple of more things. Okay. So we did this. We have got the data which is being shared. We have got the database which is being shared. Everything cool. We did demo, and we used Route 53. Okay, we used Route 53 to send the user to one or to the other location based on the latency. So in short, it detected that this user is closer to this location, forward him to the Europe. This user is closer to the other location, forward him to USA. There is a couple of different other possibilities. We could use GeoDNSs. So in short, we could say, if the user is from Germany, send him here. If the user is from France, send him here, and so on. We didn't do it. There is also a weighted round robin, so we could say, send 20% of the users here, 80% of the users here, and there is also, usually what we would do also, we would do a failover. So yes, send those users here, but when this application, this part is not working, send everybody here, okay? We didn't do it yet here, but we'll do it. We have got 25 minutes. Cool. So there is a problem with DNSs. When we have got a global application and we are sending users to those different locations based on DNS, it's not perfect because of a couple of reasons. First of all, DNSs need to be propagated, and somebody could cache the endpoint, and then it won't work as we would expect it. And it takes time. So AWS has got also one more part of the infrastructure, which is called edge location, point of presence. So there's about 180 of those in the world. So this is a component which speed up a lot of things. What exactly, I will tell this you in a couple of minutes. So guys, let's say we have got this application. One part is in Europe, one part is in USA, and now we have got this DNS's approach of sending users to here, and to here. There's a problem which is called a hot potato problem. So in short, nobody wants to handle those requests, because your request will go from Australia somewhere. Nobody in India wants to manage those, but they need to because this is the internet. So this is why this is not working. This is not like this. The reality is that it will look like this. Everybody are saying, no, no, I don't want this. Go somewhere else. So that's why it takes time. You know, the other guy, it's like this. She, for her, it might be like this. We are going through the public internet. It will take time. So there is something which is called a global accelerator. A global accelerator is a way which is using this private backbone which I described you at the beginning of this presentation. So let's not go through the internet, which is like, you know, nobody wants to do anything. Let's go through the private backbone. And in this case, it will look like this, that now when she will want to access the application, she will be forwarded to the next closest POP, so point of presence. This is AWS infrastructure. And from this part, it will go straight to AWS, to this location, using the private backbone. So our private internet, let's say it like this. Exactly the same here, exactly the same here. So in short, it will be faster. So let's do a demo, and let's see how our application will work. So, okay, so guys, I will go to the global accelerator, and I will create this component, this one single endpoint, which is saying, if you go to this endpoint, you will be automatically going to the closest point of presence, and from this, you will be using the private backbone to make it faster. So let's create this. I will say this is my global app. I will be saying this is, you know, HTTP, so port 80, TCP, nothing fancy. Next. I have got my application in 2 locations in the world. One is US East 1, so this is North Virginia. And I will also specify health check. Why? You will see this in 5 minutes. But I will say, check every 10 seconds if this application is working, because if it's not working, don't send requests there, because it's not working. And we have got a second component of our application, which is being hosted in Ireland. And again, we'll also specify the health check. So try it every 10 seconds. If there is a problem, don't send the request there. And we will need to add the endpoint. So US East 1, so this is part in USA, point to application load balancer. I've got only one load balancer, this. And in Europe, point to application load balancer to this load balancer. This is in Europe. The first one was in USA, this is in Europe. Let's create it. It will take about 2 minutes. 2 minutes to create this. So to not waste time, just check that we also, what we get is we get a static IP addresses. So in short, now we could access this application using the static IP address. But again, 2, high availability. We could use only 1. It's, you know, there's no problem. So now what we would like to do, again, we don't want to use IP addresses because, you know, who likes them? We have got our own DNS, you know, name. So let's go back to DNSs and let's register a new record, www. So if I will open my application, www.vodcartoonteams.com, you know, use those 2 IP addresses. So the first one, the second, I could use only 1, but, you know, let's be good guys. Let's create it. Again, it will take about 1-2 minutes for this to be created. Okay, because we don't have time to wait and I don't want to waste time, we will get back to this in 5 minutes, okay? So we'll do a small break for a couple of different things, but we'll get back to our application. So let's go back to the presentation. And in 5 minutes, we'll see if it's working, and one of you will break it, and one of you will win something. So, okay, we did demo. There is now a quiz. Okay, so maybe we can't wait now. So let's see if it's working. It might not work yet. So guys, okay, so I will skip it like this. Who knows what is content delivery network? Who knows it? Okay, who doesn't know what is content delivery network, CDN, he should be ashamed of himself. Because like today, when you are building application, especially web application, you need to know what is CDN. This is not AWS specific. A CDN is a technology thanks to which you will make your application work faster in the internet. And you should be using this for 99% of the cases. And what exactly does it do? Let's imagine again that we have got our data center in one location, and we have got data there. This is my doc, Java, and I have got this picture in one location. And now I have got a user, this user who wants to access this picture. So of course he will send a request, hot potato again, and then the picture animation. It took me quite a while to do this animation. So he gets the picture. He's happy, I see your dog, cool. But now there is a new user. She also wants to see, my dog. So she also sends a request, and again, my picture will be sent to her. Like, this is the internet, how it is working usually. Yeah? Wait. I will tell about this later. So, we want to do it faster. The browser, we want to do it faster. So that's why we want to use content delivery network. And the content delivery networks means like this. We will be using those locations. The request will go to the closest location, and the location will see, I don't know what is this picture. I have never seen your dog. Sorry. I will need to go and get it. But we don't have hot potato here. So the picture will be sent here, and then it will be sent here, animation. But this picture is being cached here. For how long? It's up to you. 1 minute, 30 seconds, 2 hours. We don't cache. It's up to us. But probably images, let's cache it. Why? Because now, okay, no request. Now there is a new user. She also wants to see my dog. So now this request will go here, and the cache, this point of presence will say, yeah, I know him. I know this Java dog. Please, here's the picture. So it will be faster. So in short, whenever you are building a web application, you should use a CDN. Cool. So let's go back to our application. Let's see if it's working, and then maybe if we'll have the time, we'll see how content delivery network works in real life. So this is my application. Still being created. Oh, maybe it will be okay. So I will first test it. www VOD cartoon teams. Okay, it's working. Okay, so Dimos, yeah, okay. Then Dragon Ball, and almost nobody likes Ninja Turtles. Okay, so it's working fine. So let's again test it with the Pingdom. So we want to test www. We want to test it from where? Tokyo. Okay, so we are testing now this from Tokyo. I'm first in the queue, so we will need to wait a couple of seconds. We'll see what would be shown to the user who is from Tokyo. Okay, now we are testing this. And we do USA. Makes sense, probably, if you would, see how the world looks like. Cool. So we have got one single endpoint. But what I want to do now, I created my application, and one of you will break it. So guys, one of you will break it. How you will break it? One of you will be the first one who will access the link, which I will show you in a couple of seconds. In this link, at the end, you will provide your name. Then your request will go to Lambda functions, which I created, and this Lambda function has got a code inside of it that it destroyed the application which is being deployed in Europe. It won't be there anymore. So maybe I will just show you this application is there. Just we have good time, guys. So if I would go this Fargate thing, okay? So I will go to ECS. I'm in which region? I need to go to Ireland because we'll be just destroying one region. Clusters, and this task, this is a Docker container. On this thing, there's my application running. If I would delete it, my application from Europe would be broken. It wouldn't work. But I don't want to do it myself, so one of you will do it. So guys, let's see how it will look like. So one person will break it. The person who will be the fastest who will break it will get a book, okay? So, the winner will get a book. But let's say that two other persons, they will be in order, will get a voucher for AWS for $50 or something like this. Everybody else, live. So, okay, I will show you now the link. I will show you this in 3 different ways. First link is like this. You won't copy it, okay? So you won't copy it. At the end, there is a place for your name. I will show you then the shorter link with bit.ly, and then I will show you a QR code. So if somebody wants, you can use a QR code. So, and why I'm doing this? Because if you will break Europe, my application in Europe, then the global load balancer, after about 20 seconds, will detect, oh, Europe is not working. I will forward everybody to USA. And this is the point of my application. So guys, the long way, if somebody wants to copy it, the short way, and the QR code. At the end, you need to provide your name. If you will just write Tomek, probably there is more than one Tomek here. And don't write anything bad, okay? Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see first if somebody managed to do it. You remember that I had this DynamoDB table called hackers. This is the place where I was, storing information about who is, breaking my application. So I have got the proofs that it's, one of you. So let's go to the hackers, items. I have got, multiple people, great. Let's order it. Okay, the first one is me, so of course, I won from yesterday. Okay, Artem. Who is Artem? You are the winner. Adrian. Okay. So those 3 persons, after the presentation, just let me know. Okay, you will want something. The others, sorry, guys. So now let's see if my container is still there. I will refresh it. It's not there. It's Lambda, which was behind this endpoint, killed it. So now let's see. I'm talking slowly because DNSs and so on. If I will access www, VOD, cartoon teams, the USA, not Europe, because Europe doesn't work. It doesn't work because if I would access the old endpoint, you remember we had also Europe, something, no, doesn't work. But having, this one single endpoint, and which is not using DNSs, but which is using the proper way of checking if something is working, we were able, to save our application. But now we are serving everything from this location. Cool, okay. So the last thing, we have got 8 minutes. I was talking about the CDN, the Content Delivery Network. Guys, everything which I showed you today is like there are not a lot of the cases when you need to build a global application. No. For most of the users, building application in a single region is more than enough. But so using global tables and so on, it's not for everybody. But CDN is for everybody. That's why you should know this. And I will show you an example. So guys, I have created also before. I will go to S3 and I will go to CloudFront. Okay. I have created also a bucket which is called Cartoon Teams CDN. There's nothing. I also created a CloudFront distribution. I created before because it takes about 10-15 minutes for this to be created. So in short, this is the CDN part. So now, guys, if I will push, I forgot a picture there. Okay, let's use it. Why not? Guys, there is a link. If I will open the link, movies. But now, I could also access this image not using this link, which was provided by S3, by the CloudFront link. And there is this domain name. If I will copy it, if I will change everything before the name, just wait a couple seconds, I will just show you one more thing. I will open the Chrome and I will see how long does it take to load the picture. It's not fully correct. I will tell you in a couple of seconds why, but let's see it. Now I will open the link with the CDN link. It took content download 929 milliseconds. If I will, so now what happened, my request, because I didn't show you this bucket is in Sydney. So now what happened, my request went to the closest point of presence, probably Warsaw. Warsaw, the point of presence said, I don't know this. I will go to Sydney using private backbone. I will get you it, and I will give it to you. So it gave me the picture, but also it cached it. So now if I would refresh the page, it will be much shorter, but this is not fully correct because it will take 4 milliseconds. So it's much, much shorter. In this case, it also was shorter because the browser cached it. So guys, let's open for a second a new window, and then the browser won't know about this picture again. So I will open it again. Still, it took 40 milliseconds. Because now the request went to Warsaw, and the Warsaw said, yeah, I know it, please. So the request didn't need to go to Sydney, okay? So whenever you are building an application, not in the cloud, in general, web application, you should use CDN. Very often for static content, but not necessary, okay? CDN is not only for static content. Okay, I'm almost done, guys. So the last 2 slides. Okay. Okay, we talk about the CDN. Okay, we know why should we use it. My cool animation, I spent 30 minutes on it. Okay, guys. There's also another thing. If somebody will send me an email today till 3 p.m., my email address, and the topic of the email should be what is in the QR code, the content is not necessary. You don't need to write anything there, okay? We'll get a voucher for AWS. I'm not sure how much, okay, $25, I think so, but you will get a voucher, okay? So till 3 p.m., not 3:01, not tomorrow, today, till 3 p.m. And also, I will get back to the slide. You will need to do this, because otherwise they won't invite me next year, okay? So, you need to do this, but, feel free to send me an email today. Cool, guys. Thanks for this presentation. Everything worked. I didn't expect this to be such successful. I'm quite surprised. I hope that more or less I described you why it might be important to build global application. I hope nobody's offended that I didn't talk a lot about Netflix. And if you will have got any questions about AWS, feel free to write me. I will be always happy to help. Okay, so just write me on email or on LinkedIn, and I will be always there. We have got 3 minutes, so I guess I still can have some time
we are ready
for
questions. So who? Okay, I'm going to the back.
One comment, you were too fast, because I was hoping that nobody will want to ask anything, and I was going to say the first person who will ask something will get a book or something. So.
Okay, it's working. Thank you for the presentation. I have one question. If we are using the global DynamoDB, and what is the latency of the transferring the data from one region to another? Mm-hmm. This is the one question, and the follow-up question is, if the one region just is down, and if we route the customer to the other region, and if the data is not available in the other region, what will happen? And is there a mechanism in Amazon that we can check and have an alarm for this latency?
Yeah. So guys, regarding how much does it take to copy the data, I don't remember, and I don't think we publish the information. Usually, I would say you need to measure it. You need to measure and just spin up 2 servers and detect how much does it take. It will be just faster than going through the internet. There is no doubt about this. Regarding the second question, what will happen if the one region has got a problem? I'm forwarding the user to the second region, and the data is not there. AWS, will say you didn't design your application in such way that data is there, so you will have got a problem. That's why also this is one of the reasons why it's hard to build a global, application. Because if one of the reasons why you are building global application is data from people from EU are here, data from people from USA are here, data from people from Australia are here, okay. And then there's a problem with a region, that if your application is down, you will send the users here. There is no data of them there, because you design application in such way. So in short, everything depends how you will design your application, and based on this, it might be harder to design it. It might be more expensive, and sometimes you need to decide. Okay, if one place is down, okay, let's maybe have a minimal functionality in the second location. Everything depends on how you design it. Cool.
One more question. Yes. Okay.
Just say it. Yeah.
Last one, in order to keep the time.
I'm curious about S3 usage that you showed. There was a replication between Europe and USA, but still you had to set files public in both locations.
No. I made them public because I did it in such way that my application is accessing them, and I built it in such way that it expects the files to be public, because I didn't want to waste too much time on building it. So I make files public just because I was lazy, not because it had to be this to replicate the data. It's my laziness. Yeah, I fall. Cool, guys.
Thank you for the questions. More questions via email. Thank you, Tomek, for the presentation.
Cheers, guys.
Alexa, the stage is yours.